All right, you're live. We're back. International break. Can we say done and dusted? I think there's still few more countries going to play.
I think there
Nevertheless, I
are.
think the major ones are done. Nevertheless, we're back. But game week 4, right? Straight away. Wildcard is what people have been discussing last few weeks. There were managers who wildcard in game week 3. Now we have it game week 4. But before we actually look at whether you need to wildcard in game week 4 or not, let's start with how our game week 3 went. So, Som, how was game week 3 for you?
First of all, welcome to everyone. Thank you for watching us. Thank you for waiting. I will just do this quickly before the pod starts. Please do like and subscribe if you like our work. Sorry we couldn't be available during the international break, but we have been completely swamped with work and health issues and stuff like that, and we couldn't just make it. But I think we have two pods this week. Like we are doing one today, and then I think Sankalp will be doing one over Thursday with Luke, right? So yeah.
Thursday or Friday, one of
Thursday.
the days.
So before deadline, so there will be a pre-deadline, uh, like detailed game week 4 preview pod. Do watch out for that. Today we'll be extensively covering just wildcard and a bit of game week 3 preview. Sorry, like recap whatever
Review.
happened. Jog
Yeah.
our memory. Actually, this pod is as much for me as for you guys. I think because I've been completely out of loop. Uh, yeah, game week 3 seems a long time back, Aditya. Game week went very well for me. Personally, I scored 87 points. I am up to, I think, 34K in the world. So, pretty happy with that. Pretty happy with the start. Bit, yeah, it's getting there. I mean, things are working out as of now. But yeah, it is jittery times because to get back into the loop and stuff. So, how was things for you? How was international break for you?
Yeah, international break was like much needed, I would say. But in terms of how game week 3 went, I think I ended up on 77 odd points.
Mm-hmm.
Not bad. The only sort of heartbreak I had was the Everton Bournemouth game because I had Mikolenko and I was like, oh my god, I'm going to get the clean sheet points. And the last, I think, 6-7 minutes, Bournemouth just came from 2 goals down to beat them 3-2, and Mikolenko just dropped to straight 1 point from, I think, six. So that was the only one issue, but other than that, it was fine. I mean,
I think
Salah returned.
similar
Yeah.
for me as well regarding the Brentford clean sheet. Brentford lost their clean sheet in the 94th minute, if I'm not wrong, against Southampton, which was
Yeah.
a nothing goal
Hmm.
whatsoever. So yeah, until then I had Flecken who was on for a 7 or an 8 pointer. I don't remember. It's been a long back. The general three theme has been essentially like people who have started on Haaland and Salah have been beneficial a lot. People who have not have suffered, but this is also like we are at the extreme end of variance, like so Salah, Haaland have been pretty much matching. Both of them are on 41 points in 3 game weeks.
Yes.
Obviously this is not something that will sustain. We hope that it sustains, but probably would not. So yeah, which brings us to why we are discussing like wildcard, and I think this will be a recurring theme over the season due to the five transfer ruling thing, and it essentially kind of, I would not say devalue, but it makes the wildcard usage a bit more freer than other seasons. So you can venture into a wildcard since you can roll up to 5 transfer and later rectify those mistakes. So yeah, I think we'll be pretty much discussing wildcards throughout the season, at least the first half of the season.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's dive into it.
All right. Wildcard. So, how we are just going to go around with this particular episode of the stream is we are just going to briefly touch upon obviously the three main parts of our team. That's the defense, the goalkeeper, defenders, the midfielders, and forwards. We'll just walk through players that are being, people are picking and maybe few differentials here and there if you've added it. And we'll wind with one draft we've created and our bus teams. So we'll go straight up to the defense. I mean, pretty much
Before we do that,
Taylor
I mean,
said names.
Aditya, just like before we do that, I think there is a lingering thought or a question in people's mind as to first of all whether they should wildcard or not. Like, barring the obvious answer that is it is team dependent, there is a merit in discussing like the popular wildcard window is right now, and then the next popular window would be probably game week 6, right? So there's a merit about whether to wildcard now or to game week 6. So uh, why should, according to you, somebody wildcard right now rather than game week 6?
That is the. It depends on how depleted your squad is. If you have a lot of players who are not playing or not performing, there is a fixture swing here and there. If you just need to get rid of those players despite losing maybe two, three free transfers over the first maybe 2 weeks, and then you'll press the button. Price rises are also an issue. We've seen a couple of players go up in price, so we don't know by game week 6 whether you'll be able to afford them or not. I think that's the primary concern here at this point, is to just kind of get ahead of the curve is what people are looking at. But still, if you can somehow scrape through this 2 3 weeks, I feel personally I'm looking at game week 6 wildcard, because lot of teams are having a fixture swing from 6 onwards. I think we have Arsenal, we have City, we have Brentford. A lot of other teams have good turnaround of fixtures, and we'll have more information by 6 weeks, right? Even with midweek games, European games, everything we played, I think we'll be kind of certain enough of players who are nailed and who might be, rotation prone and form and everything wise. So that's my thinking. It's just team dependent at this point if you want to go for a wild card now.
Like, I mean, just looking at the talking points right now, uh, we are recording this video on 10th of September, right? So I mean, it's almost yeah, 10th of September is almost done Indian Standard Time. So as of now, the information that we have, uh, the price rises haven't been that significant yet, right? So the major price changes across, I mean, over the international break would have to be like Salah has risen another 0.1. So now Salah would cost you 12.7, and I think a popular player over the break was Rico Lewis of Man City, so he has risen or in price. Other than that, I don't think there have been a very significant like price fall or price rise over the window. So,
João
uh,
Pedro's gone up. He's up to 5.7.
yeah, okay, yeah, I forgot. So, Joao Pedro has also gone up. So, he's 5.7 as of now. So, now the thing is, barring these two three players that we have mentioned, there haven't been significant or important price changes or price rises over the international break. So we cannot be discussing the merits of doing a wild card simply for catching those price rises, because there haven't been much, right? Due to the fact also that a lot of wild cards have been activated. Simply put, I mean, long story short, I think if the wild card right now, I go back to our first episode, which we called it known elements. So we started with ventured into the season with what we know, right? And what we know has till now has held true. So, like, Arsenal is a good defense. Uh, City are an attacking team. Liverpool would be good. So all these things have actually held true. So whatever we thought would be the top three is the top three, barring one or two surprises in the form of Brighton have not fallen off. They are in fact probably better than what they were under Deserby, at least from the initial 3 weeks data. And I don't think there has been a significant change of view or thought regarding any particular team wherein we are like amazed. Probably, yeah, we are a bit underwhelmed by Newcastle, but again, it's early days, right? So according to me, barring if you are using the wildcard to get into a structure where you are getting both Haaland and Salah, any other reason for usage of the wildcard can be postponed. I mean, I see a lot of people uh, plugging in on using the wildcard to get Palmer. I probably would not do that, but I do understand the fact, right? So yeah, keeping that in mind, we should also be discussing a bit about which are the teams, why like wildcard game week 6 is a popular kind of a window to wildcard, right? So the major teams that we do know are having a fixture swing from game week 6 are Arsenal, Brentford, and who else?
Even City. I mean, if you
City,
see here in this one,
7. Yeah. So City would be from game week 7. So if we look at game week 6, Arsenal has Leicester at home, Southampton at home, Bournemouth away. So these are prime fixtures. These are two promoted team at home, and Bournemouth, who are anyways at least looking leaky defensive wise, right? So they are good fixture to attack from an attacking standpoint. Apart from this, I think Spurs also have a good fixture from game week 7 onwards, okay, in the form of Brighton, West Ham, Crystal Palace. Good attacking fixtures. Game week 6, Brentford has a brilliant run of fixture starting from West Ham home right up till almost game week 13 till Leicester at home. So it's a huge chunk of fixture: West Ham home, Wolves home, United away, Ipswich home, Fulham away, Bournemouth home, Everton away, and Leicester home. I think this is the best run of fixture like any team has across the season. I mean, if you check the ticker throughout the season till game week 38, this is the best chunk of fixture. So you would like to get onto Brentford, right? And then there are bit and part teams that are doing well. From game week 7 onwards, City has a good run of fixtures. Spurs, as we already discussed, has a good run of fixtures. And then again, certain teams which will be your glue guys like Everton, Palace, uh,
Wolves
Wolves.
also from I think giving
So
8 or 9ish.
will be having a good swing of fixture. So essentially, like the game week 6 wildcard would be a good place to hop on due to the fixture run, right? Right now, the wildcard play is all about the structural run. So if you don't have a Haaland and Salah structure, that's why you are getting into it, right? So keeping that in mind, we'll be discussing the wildcard, as in we will be doing a wildcard keeping in mind obviously game week 4, but we will be also looking into the future and at least keeping a provision of getting these teams when others would be getting them in game week 6, right? Okay, so now long monologue, let's get into it. So
Yeah. So
sure, go ahead.
defense. I mean, goalkeepers pretty much. I think they are sort of renowned names. I think sort of Areola is not sure. I think he should be fit. But I think the probably three best names is Raya if you don't go for an Arsenal defender, Henderson 4.5, and Flecken. Obviously, Flecken I think is probably might do well in terms of throughout the season because I think he'll get save points as well.
See,
And
we have
again,
done,
fixture swing.
yeah, like we have seen Raya has done brilliantly, right? And essentially, obviously he's coming from a top team and a top defense, so he will keep on getting points. uh, Personally, I the only reason I don't like Raya is he's 5.5 million, right? So he costs a million extra than these keepers who also have a decentish kind of a run. Second, like it stops you from getting an Arsenal uh, outfield player. So ideally, if we think about that run of 3 matches for Arsenal, you would like a triple up of at least two attackers and one defender, because that exactly, if you see the run, it's Leicester, Southampton at home, and then Bournemouth away. I mean, we would be expecting somewhat around 6 to 8 goals in those 3 games. So I think just having, if you are going for a double defense structure, you probably would be missing out, right? You'll be wanting attacking defenders like Gabriel uh, or probably Saliba, who can, who attack. And Arsenal have been the best team from set piece as well. So that's the only reason I would not like Raya. But I understand if somebody goes there for budget, like you can't afford a 6 million defender, you're going for Raya. Makes perfect sense. For me personally, I think Flecken would be the optimal choice, goalkeeper wise, right? So these are the watch list players, obviously. Defender, I don't think we need to speak about Trent at all. Why not? Because a lot of people might be confused because obviously Trent does not show a lot of points. But I would say, like, I would not say unlucky, but uh, you would be fearful if you don't own Trent, which is the case with me. Like, I'm worried every Liverpool match that I watch. I am worried that Trent will be doing something, or he almost scored a goal. So if that goal was given against United, scenarios would have been a lot different, and we we would have been talking in a completely different tone and sense. So yeah, Trent is not essential from game week 6, but if you're wildcarding right now, obviously Can you show the fixture of Liverpool from like now the next three fixture? Why we are talking so much about Liverpool? So yeah, the next three fixtures are Nottingham Forest at home, Bournemouth at home, Wolves away, and even game week 7 is Crystal Palace away. So these are prime fixtures. Like uh, granted, Nottingham Forest have good defensive data. Like they are probably I think top 5 or 6 teams for XG conceded, but Liverpool are top one of the top two teams, if not the top team for XG till now. So yeah, brilliant run of fixtures. So I think triple Liverpool or triple up on Liverpool is almost like a must, right? Uh, Robertson is a very good choice. So, what is your thought on Robertson versus Luis Diaz or Diego Jota or somebody in midfield, keeping in mind that there is European commitment right now?
I mean, yeah, that's the thing. Salah is pretty much nailed, so yeah, the remaining two where you're going to go is the problem.
Yeah, he is a
Uh,
bang of 90 minutes player, so there's no question regarding Salah.
I still feel another attacker is enough along with either Trent or Robertson. But who is a good question? Diaz is explosive in some games that we saw last time, and Jota before that as well. I mean, it's a very, very coin toss decision. I think at the end of the day, both of them will give returns. There's nothing wrong with picking either one of them.
Okay. So, can we just quickly jump to the fixture ticker? Like,
Yeah,
other you can show the Lego money is like the fixture run, wherein what are the games in between, right? So, Liverpool start off with Nottingham Forest at home, and then I think they have Milan, AC Milan
yeah.
away, and then they have Bournemouth at home, and then again there is a fixture in West Ham at home, which would be I think.
League Cup.
There's a League Cup fixture, right? So
Hmm.
why Robertson makes or Robertson becomes attractive is we don't know exactly as to how, because till now in the season there has been not much of a rotation. How Arne Slot rotates over the fixture run when there are European and League Cups involved, that is to be seen. Seeing keeping that in mind, I think Robertson is a much more nailed on and a better pick comparatively minutes wise. Expected minutes wise, Robertson would be a better pick than probably Luis Diaz or Jota. But if you somebody who is not wild carding and if you're holding on to, if you already own them player, I would not suggest obviously selling them for Robertson. But right now, I think that would be the optimal play as to getting a double defense, because they are pretty attacking. Both the fullbacks are very attacking of Liverpool, right? Cool. Let's move on to the rest of defenders. Konate, I don't think is an option at least till now until we see what the rotation is. If we see a world where Kwanzaa is playing the European fixture and Konate is playing the main league, then obviously Konate is back into a contention and he becomes a talking point, because 5 million Liverpool defender is obviously always desired. Barring this, what are your views on Saliba and Gabriel?
I mean, I have Saliba since game week one, and I think we've discussed this last time as well. I think Arsenal's defense is, I think they'll play the same way as what we saw last time, and yeah, I'm kind of happy having Saliba, and I'm just going to have it. There's nothing. I don't know. I think you might be able to give better insights in terms of who's better amongst the two. But I feel Saliba is kind of more assured in terms of minutes and kind of. I
Saliba
think
would be
Arsenal's
nailed.
defense. Hmm.
Saliba would be more nailed, at least in my mind as an Arsenal fan. I think Saliba is more nailed minutes wise. There is obviously no minutes scare of Gabriel, or at least what we are seeing till now. But we have to keep in mind Calafiori, Timber, all of them will eventually get integrated. So it will be interesting to see at least like how that pans out. But I think either Saliba or Gabriel both should be fine. They should not be a problem. There might be a question as to whether you should be going along with them right now if you are wildcarding, right? Because Obviously, owning Trent, Robertson, and Saliba would be suboptimal. I think my particular view would be to get both the Liverpool defense and then move one of them via transfer when the game week 6 fixture turns into an Arsenal defender, right? Poro, I don't think should be in a question right now, at least wildcard perspective. This we are discussing completely wildcard, guys. Like, so these picks aren't bad, but these aren't the picks that you will be picking on a wildcard, is what we are saying, right? Let's move on to budget defenders. I think like Konsa. I don't know about Luka Dean. I think Konza, Pau Torres, and probably a player like Dunk. These makes absolute sense because I think their run of fixtures are brilliant. Villa are already on a good run, and I think Brighton are starting on a good run of 4 fixture from this game week. It will be Ipswich home,
Ipswich
Nottingham
Forest.
Forest home, so 2 home fixtures. Then Chelsea away. Okay, granted that is not a good clean sheet fixture, and then Tottenham at home, right? So interestingly, I mean, if you have a Brighton defender and you have a Brentford defender, they rotate perfectly. So you get a Dunk who plays Ipswich and Nottingham Forest. Then the next week you play a Brentford defender who has West Ham at home and Wolves at home. And then Brighton has Newcastle away, Brentford has United away, whoever you play, and then you can keep on playing your Brentford defender. So that is a rotation pairing that you can look after or look towards. Cool. Any thoughts? Your personal thought on Robinson, Davis? I think Robinson is still good. Probably not somebody I would pick on a wild card, but he's good almost till game week 10.
Yeah, Robinson is fine. Leaf Davis, I think, again, Ipswich's fixtures are not that bad.
Mhm.
And he's someone I think more
Ipswich
of.
pictures are brilliant. I mean, but obviously you'll be taking Leaf Davis for any attacking potential, right? Not
Yeah,
exactly
that's
from
what.
clean sheet perspective, but he's a very good. I think he had 17 or 18 assists last year in championship. So if he matches half of that, that's an amazing number for a Ipswich defender. Bench options. Harwood Bell is still in contention. I I think Greaves makes more sense. So I think Greaves should be kind of nailed on. And there is another 4 million, I think, Brentford defender as well. I'm forgetting his name. So he's also becoming a bit popular. So we have to see if he becomes an option or not. So these are these are the kind of more knowledge and data that we are looking
Who you're
forward.
talking about? Sepp Vandenberg.
Yeah,
I mean, we'll see whether he starts. That's the
yeah.
thing. I think eventually he will, but we'll see. We need to see.
I mean, even in budget defender, we forgot. Kadioglu probably would not be starting right away, but he's an
I
exciting
think
defender. He's injured.
yeah, he's injured. That's the thing.
He has an hamstring injury, but he's almost on the verge of getting ready, probably. So would be starting in a game week or two. So somebody to keep a watch on. Okay, let's move on from defense. I think we have covered that. Yeah, why don't you
Pretty much. I mean,
get
premium
on?
midfielders are pretty much self-explanatory, right? Salah is, I think, we don't need to speak a lot about him. Palmer is again based on whether you want to attack and get him in. Then you have Saka is, I think, maybe game week 6 onwards. And there's another player at last I read it is KDB. What do you think about KDB? I mean,
Uh,
although they have a couple of European games coming here, and I mean, the rotation prone is obviously a worry, but
KDB personally, I think I would still wait on Foden and KDB. Obviously, if you are wildcarding from, I mean, like later down the line in game week 6 or 7, it makes more sense because we have more information back then. But right now, I think I would be avoiding KDB. for whatever reason. Am I visible?
No, your camera went off.
Okay. I don't know if I've done something on my end, but yeah, everything seems kind of okay from my end. Anyways, yeah, let's go ahead.
Mid-price midfielders. I mean, Jota or Diaz again. It's in the self-explanatory category as Salah. Either you go with double Liverpool defense with Salah, or you pick one of these two guys along with the defender. And I think next we have Eze. We did speak about Eze last in the last episode where we said that he's a hold, and yeah, he did return finally. And again, Palace's attack is going to revolve around Eze, and they are playing Leicester at home this particular game week, right? Uh, I think it's easy. I think probably more or less an excellent pick throughout the season at this particular price bracket. Okay, Som, if you're there, I can't hear you. Okay, let's just wait on for a second. All right, I'll just carry on here. We will be speaking about Eze, and the next other players on this mid price list are Bumo. Obviously, last 2 weeks he's been consecutively returning, and 14 pointer in game week 3, 1 pointer in game week 2. That's fine, but he did get a 9 pointer in game week 1. And as we did discuss, that Brentford have a good amount of fixtures swing post game week 6 onwards, but still, it's not a bad pick considering the price bracket he is at the moment at 7.1. So, definitely a player we need to look at. The remaining other players have been kind of on and off. Gordon finally did manage to return in game week 2, but game week 3 again he did get a 2 pointer, and not someone really you would like to probably consider in your teams for wildcard, but it's just a player to keep in mind. And the next player we have is Jared Bowen, who is again I think priced 7.5, and West Ham fixtures are kind of on and off. They play Fulham away, Chelsea home, Brentford away, Ipswich home. I mean, they're still at game week 7 on. And in terms of his returns so far, I mean, game week 3, he did get an assist. Game week 2, he scored a goal. And again, in terms of West Ham's attack, someone who will obviously play a key role. And we, last but not the least, we have Bruno Fernandes here. And I have him in my team, and I've been burnt completely the last 3 weeks. The only fact that I still have him in my team is because of United's next two games that we play Southampton away and Crystal Palace away. Uh, on paper, they're slightly okay fixtures, but that's the problem. If he returns or not, I think probably the 2 weeks, these 2 weeks, I think game week 4 and 5 pretty much should give us an answer. But if you're looking to wildcard, I don't think you should be looking to get in Fernandez at this point. But those who have him, this is for non-wildcarders, probably I think you just hold on for a week, and if not, just ship him out. Or if you're even burnt out too much, I think you can ship him out. But if you have bigger fires to put out at this point, then I think you can just hold on to him. Okay, Som is back. I've added you, but unfortunately, I'm not able to hear you again. Some technical issue here. Let me just. Okay, in terms of budget midfielders, Mitoba or Minte, I think Spectro Rogers are pretty much like in the structure. 5.5 people have picked them. Semenyo, again, he's been terrific over the past few weeks. And again, it's kind of looking like Bournemouth's talisman over the last 3 games. He's been consistently returning. I mean, a total of 19 points in 3 game weeks. And although Bournemouth's fixtures are not that kind for the next 2 weeks, but Southampton and Leicester in game week 6 and 7 are not bad. But for 5.5, I think we should not complain. And again, Kudus and Bowen are pretty much in the same category. Sawcheck has surprisingly, returned over the last, I think last game he did obviously game week 2. Sorry, he did score a goal, and in game week 1 he got an assist. But fuck is 5 million again in terms of the structure. If you need someone to fill in at that price bracket, he's not bad. Um, Mitoma versus Minte is a bit of interesting here. Uh, I think both of them look good so far as I mean the games that I've watched that Brighton have played. Uh, Minte, did he get a price rise? Minte is at 5.5. And if I just quickly check, Mitoma is 6.6, so he's gone up point 0.1. And again, if you want a Brighton midfielder, I think Mitoma is kind of better. But if you want someone a bit relatively cheaper, Minte is not a bad option at that price bracket. I'm not going to discuss more on Smith Rowe and Rogers. We've spoken a lot about them. I think Rogers is still a better pick. I think Leon Bailey is a bit of doubt with regards to his injury, but Rogers is someone good at that price. And last but not least is Matuiki. I mean, post his game week 2 hat trick, he blanked in game week 3. Probably kind of curse of the most transferred in player. Don't know. But again, Chelsea's fixtures are still good right up until if we see here until game week 7 they are good on paper, but obviously I think West Ham, Brighton are tougher games. So still a good option in that particular price bracket, not a bad shot. And last but not the least, we have a couple of bench fodder midfielders who will play every game, but just 2 pointers. That's Harry Winks and Sankari. All right, I've just completed the midfield watch list and still waiting for Som to join me. Technical issues will happen. I'm just waiting for Som to be here and then we can resume. If anyone's in the chat and is watching and has anything that we would like to discuss, please just drop it down and we'll just clearly take it up. Okay, let's look at the attackers pretty quickly here. Then we'll go to the draft. I mean, okay, let's Haaland again. Haaland and Salah draft is what we have in the next draft slide that we've made. Watkins is again someone who should have returned last week. I don't know what's going on, but again, someone who you should consider. Isaac did return finally last week, but whether to consider a wild card or not is again based on the structure and the amount of funds you have. And Havertz is just basically an alternate option to uh, Saka if you don't want to spend 10.1. But if we look at Havertz, quickly he's gone up to 8.1, and game week 1, 12 pointer, game week 2, 2 pointer, and game week 3, he did score against Brighton. So definitely not a bad pick. And in terms of mid-priced or the budget forwards, we have Joao Pedro at 5.7, followed by Danny Welbeck as an alternate pick. But the only concern is, one second, is Ruta. That's what I want to say. Whether Welbeck's minutes will slowly start getting reduced. That's the thing. Nicholas Jackson, another alternate option. Uh, Obviously, Palmer is the talisman at Chelsea, but if Jackson is just probably an alternate route to get some points, uh, not someone who's going to give us nail returns. And the remaining picks are your fodder second or third options who are probably not that great. Obviously, Visa has looked good so far this season, and with Tony leaving, I think Visa and Bumo have a lot of role to play for Brentford's attack. And yeah, game week 1, 11 pointer, and game week 3, he did get an 8 pointer as well. So definitely a good pick. And all right, Mooney's Wood and Calvert Lewin again. They are based on the fixture swing once that happens. All right, let's just quickly go on to the wildcard draft. So this is just based on what we have been discussing so far. And let me just quickly see if Som is able to join back in. Just give me a second. All right, tech issues not able to resolve, but we'll just continue from where we actually stopped. Wildcard draft. We did speak about Henderson as one of the goalkeeper options, but instead of Henderson, you can go with Flecken as well. But here we have Rico Henry from Brentford, so probably we don't want to do a double defense, so that's the reason that's Henderson. Robertson instead of Trent purely because of budget issues, and as we said, Duncan, Rico, Henry can be rotated well, so that's a good defensive pair. Konza again, Villa have good run of games, and Nedeljkovic is. I'm not actually sure whether he did play, but he just played 11 minutes or so. That's my worry. But I mean, you can go with someone like Greaves, there, someone who's assured to play, and they have good games. All right, Mo Salah. I don't need to explain a lot. Eze, and we did speak about Palace, how important he is for Palace, and once he starts going, he's someone who will give returns. Rogers again, Villa have good fixtures and someone who's looked well this season. Bruno United have good two games. That's against Southampton and Palace, and someone who can be downgraded to maybe Mbombo later post game week 6. And Bukayo Saka is just not to book a transfer to get him in once Arsenal have a fixture swing. And other than that, I think it's not by still having Saka because he's someone who will return every game and he's very important to Arsenal's attack. Again, 4.5 forward, we can ignore that. Haaland is, again, what do we discuss on him? And last, we have João Pedro. We did cover that briefly. And currently, he's the most transferred in player and he's looked well over the last 2 weeks. And Brighton have a decent run of games over the next few weeks, so not a bad second forward option. Okay, that's done. Let's look at game week 4 fixtures that we have. Little bit in brief. Obviously, United Southampton take on Man United. That's the first game of this particular game week, early kickoff. And United have a lot to play in this particular game week. Two consecutive bad results over the past 2 weeks has not been favorable. Game week 2 and 3, and things need to turn. And probably that's the reason we kind of picked Fernandez in the wildcard draft. And let's hope that United kind of turn around and improve their performances. Next, we have Brighton Ipswich. Again, it's going to be an interesting game. Brighton play at Amex, and we'll have a lot of FPL managers now finally having a couple of Brighton players. And it's going to be an interesting game to see. I'm just no idea which way it's going to go. And probably, I think I mean, just skim through the fixtures. Probably the biggest game is obviously the North London derby. We have Spurs against Arsenal on Sunday, but if we see there are a couple of interesting games that we have. Obviously, Fulham against West Ham is also a game in London derby, and Bournemouth against Chelsea is an interesting game. Wolves against Newcastle. So there are a lot of interesting games, lot of games that may yield tight results, and players are coming back from the international breaks. So we need to see who starts and who gets benched, maybe because of late arrival or might end up getting a knock or so. But then we need to be mindful and watchful as we reach closer to game week 4's deadline. And I mean, let me just check here. Other than that, City play Brentford, Liverpool play Forest. Uh, Salah and Haaland again probably will be the two most talked about players for captaincy. Okay, um, skimming through the fixtures once again, we have Villa against Everton, and let's see whether this week we do end up getting returns from Rogers or Watkins. That's going to be an interesting thing to see. And Let me see. I get. All right. Well, back to wildcard draft. Let's go to one of the. I mean, it's not up currently on the screen, but let's go to another draft. It's not up on the screen, but the other draft that we would like to discuss is basically one without Haaland. I know it's kind of a gamble that we have that's without Haaland. So probably the two best strikers here would be Jean Pedro and Isaac. If you're going without Haaland, and the only difference here is that you'll get an Arsenal defender as well as you'll double up on Liverpool's defense. That would be probably the only like kind of major change in terms of the structure. That's it. That's the one that's going to be without Haaland. Just to just describe it straight away. And going on to my bus team very quickly is that I am. Uh, there's another thing that you can also be able to afford Palmer in the team without Haaland for Bruno. That's the other thing. Obviously, you'll get enough funds. Okay, all right. So here's my bus team. To quickly sum up, is I have Henderson in goal with Konsa, Mikalenko, and Saliba in defense. Bruno, Emil Smith Rowe, Mo Salah, Hudson Odoi, Rogers, Haaland, Isaac, and this is my current starting 11. And I'm more or less looking at one change would be either shipping Lewis Hall for Robertson is what I'm looking at this point, or maybe transferring Hudson Odoi out. Uh, Hudson Odoi for a Liverpool attacker again. If I can afford, I can't. I don't think I can afford because of all the price drops. So I think the most likely change that I will do is Lewis Hall to Robertson with the amount of funds that I have in the bank. That would be my bus team. I know Som is not able to join, but let's just quickly look at Som's bus team as well. He has Flecken in goal, followed by Konsa, Robinson, and Rico Lewis. Then he has Rogers, Smithrow, Salah, Saka, Jota, Isaac, Haaland. I think probably the only player that might be in a bit of doubt would be Gerald Konsa. I think probably Poro might step in, or maybe he's looking to transfer Konsa out for another player. That's it. If he sends me a message, I will read out what his actual transfer plan might be. Uh, but I'm guessing probably he might roll it or he might just ship Konsa out. Wait. Yes, he's looking to get in Trent. And he's asking suggestion. I think that's the only weak spot I see here is Konsa not obviously he is someone who's I don't think he's going to play. So that's the only player I would look to get out. I mean, Poro is still not a bad option, but I don't expect Spurs to keep a clean sheet in that game. So maybe yeah, going for either Robertson or Trent is kind of no brainer. The rest all looks pretty much well balanced. Obviously, some you're ranked 80k. You're ranked 80k for a reason. That's right. Whom to remove between? I mean, Isaac and Saka. Uh, 34k correction. Yeah, I think there's nothing wrong with the team. Just make the one transfer and just go on. Uh, it's a tough question. Um, I think for this week, I'm not going to think about that. I'm expecting returns from both the players this particular game week, but maybe in the longer run, maybe till game week 6 onwards, if we see here, firstly we have Newcastle. I mean, they play Fulham in game week 5, City in game week 6, Everton in game week 7, and Brighton in game week 8. But Arsenal have a terrific run. from Gameweek 6 onwards. I mean, 4 5 are tough fixtures on paper, but again, Arsenal's attack is heavily kind of relied on Saka. But my only worry is with no Declan Rice this particular game, how Arsenal will kind of deal with the midfield. And Odegaard is also, I think, he got injured in the international game. So how serious is his injury? That also depends on the way I think Arsenal will play, because Odegaard Rice properly Rice and Odegaard both are very important. Although Rice is just a single game suspension, but Odegaard is very important to Arsenal's midfield and the attack as well. I think between Saka and Isaac, that's a tough question. I think to just fairly sum up, I would not think about it now. But fixtures for, I think Saka is someone game week 6 onwards looks good, but Isaac needs to return, else I think people will look to uh, ship him out post this week. Yeah, yeah. Rice and Odegaard supposed to miss this game. Rice will be back for Man City game. Odegaard maybe too. Yeah, we need to wait and see what Mikel says. Probably on Odegaard. And yeah, I think uh, with that we have to kind of end this stream. Not It didn't go pretty much the planned way. Obviously, technical difficulties do happen. Something that's not in our control, but the last I think probably 15 20 minutes, I had an interesting time talking and streaming alone. That's something that I need to probably get used to it. So those who managed to join live, uh, thanks for taking out your time. If you have any questions, do drop us in the chat at the moment or post it on YouTube's comment section or tag us on Twitter. We'll be happy to address it. And those who are on Wildcard, structure your teams well and hope it goes well for you all. Um, don't forget to drop a like on this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon for more updates and notifications from our channel. We will be back on Friday at around 5 p.m. Indian time. We'll have Sankalp, and he'll be joined alongside with Luke, that's FPL Crusader. They will be discussing on how the 3 game weeks have gone so far. And Luke is on wildcard as well, so he'll be revealing his draft, and they would look at probably game week 4 and yeah, the things that have happened over the last few game weeks. Okay, all right, that wraps up for this episode. I'll see you all next week. Till then, have a great time, and yeah, green arrows to all.